again. Well, the preacher man called again. Showed up to the church with a Bible in hand. Preacher man called again. Well, the preacher man asked him why. Well, the preacher man asked him why. Well, I ain't going to heaven, honey, when I die, Lord. Preacher man asked him why. I got $20 in my hand, $20 in my hand. Pretty soon, honey, won't be able to stand. $20 in my hand. Got $40 in my hand, $40 in my hand. I'ma take a walk, see the old dope man. $40 in my hand. Little baby gon' call it a day. Little baby gon' call it a day, but I don't want no woman about it anyway, and I know. Where the train gon' roll slow, where the train gon' roll slow. Where I don't care, honey, about where I go. Long sand train roll slow. I'ma head back to New Orleans. I'ma head back to New Orleans. Where the sun's always shining on the floor of the leaves. Head back to New Orleans. I'ma head back to Caroline. I'ma head back to Caroline. Where the Congaree River don't sure feel fine. Head for the Caroline. I'm a fine little baby now. I'm a fine little baby now. I'm a hunt that woman like cold-blood hound. Fine little baby now. Little baby gon' call it a day. Little baby gon' call it a day, but I don't want a woman about it anyway, and I know. Pack my things and go. I'ma pack my things and go. I'ma catch a southbound, head to Mexico. Pack my things and go. I'ma move on Tennessee. I'ma move on Tennessee. I'ma find me a baby, oh, she marry me. Move on Tennessee. Little baby gon' call it a day. Little baby gon' call it a day, but I don't want a woman about it anyway, and I know.
Well, welcome everybody to Downpour Radio. Welcome friends, I'm your host Lightning Luke. As always, we have an awesome show. Thanks so much for tuning in today, everybody. We have an awesome show coming up. Captain ACAB from the Window Smash and Job Creators will tell us a story of how their hit track Olympia's Blues came about. That's coming up in the first hour of the show. Then we'll do what we do here best at Downpour Radio, as we will be spinning new additions to our heavy rotation playlist in the second hour of the show. And then we'll kick off your Thirsty Thursday happy hour with non-stop drinking songs and songs about substance in the final hour of the show, all the way until we hit the buzzer. All that and much more on today's episode of Downpour Radio. But first, let's keep the music flowing. We open the show with Call It a Day by Yes Ma'am. That's off their 2019 album 1 Week Record. And up next we have our friends the Railyard Ghosts playing All Roads Lead to Nowhere from their 2019 album Crisis Actor. Thanks again for joining us. I'm still Lightning Luke, and once again this is All Roads Lead to Nowhere by Railyard Ghosts, and you are listening to it right here on Downpour Radio.
We're going down, it goes down again. Time to leave tonight.
No, we have our simple needs, and now the stars they will align
In the sky.
Well, that was Rail Yard Ghosts, everybody, playing All Roads Lead to Nowhere. That is off of their split EP with Days and Days that came out back in 2014. That is just simply called Split EP. Thanks again for tuning in to Downpour Radio, everybody. I'm your host, Lightning Luke, as always, and a little later on the show, we'll be hearing from Captain ACAB, who will talk about the window-smashing Job Creators hit track Olympia's Blues, which is a wonderful track of theirs off of their first album, and you're going to hear the story that led to it and what was behind it and the organizing that went into it, which is always where things start with the window-smashing Job Creators, and we're going to start our day listening to the window-smashing Job Creators here on Downpour Radio. Up next, we have off of their second album, Full Unemployment. The song is called Precarious Spiel. The artist is the Window Smashing Job Creators. I am Lightning Luke, and you are listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes I get distracted when I'm critiquing everything, but I
You're listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. That was Precarious Spiel by the Window Smashing Job Creators, and just around the corner is our conversation with Captain ACAB from the Window Smashing Job Creators. We talked about how their track Olympia's Blues, that we'll be hearing a little later on into the show, was created and written and the story behind it, but we're going to keep the music rolling here in our first hour. Thanks so much for tuning in. If this is your first time here, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps every day to hit that like button, even if you're in here every day, and we do appreciate all of you who do tune in every day to Downpour Radio. I'm still Lightning Luke. We're going to keep things rolling with our friends Clyde and the Mill Tailors up next. This is Hell March by Clyde and the Mill Tailors off of their EP that came out last year. That's called Folklore. Once again, this is Hell March by Clyde and the Mill Tailors, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
Tongue for I can't speak all the things I see. Goats and hawks with crooked hands, disguised as lambs and priests. Oh, the altar is on fire, all the rafters bones. Chorus of witches singing from their burning poles.
That was My Heart by Sparkle Carpet, everybody, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio. And we have our first couple requests of the show. This next one goes out to Michael Reed, who's listening on YouTube. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. This is our friends Ludlow off of their album Destroy What Destroys You that came out back in 2017. Once again, this is Ludlow, and the track is Trust No Cop. Of course, that is, again, Trust No Cop by Ludlow, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
100 years ago, they used to put on a white sheet and use a bloodhound against Negroes. Today, they've taken off the white sheet and put on police uniforms. They've traded in the bloodhounds for police dogs, and they're still doing the same thing.
to be.
That was Trust No Cop by Ludlow on Downpour Radio, everybody. And up next, we have a couple of new releases that have come out in just the last little bit here. Up next, we're going to play our good friends Lulu and the Black Sheep's new track, Bones, that came out just a couple days ago on the 31st here, and it's our first time spinning it here on Downpour Radio. Once again, this is Bones by Lulu and the Black Sheep that we're going to play next, and after that, we have another request, and it is a new track as well. This request goes out to Cass, who's listening out there on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. That track will be I Bought You a Blanket in Mexico off of the brand new album from Walter, etc. That is called Dark Comedy Performance Piece of My Life. Once again, first we'll be listening to Lulu and the Black Sheep play Bones, their new release, and then after that we will be listening to I Bought You a Blanket in Mexico by Walter, etc. And you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
This place is full of bones, in the closets and in the halls. In my dreams, I'm a moth slamming into the walls. You want me to be somebody I'm not, and to speak with a tongue that I haven't got. This place is full of bones. Place is full of bones. I hear them rattle with your stride. All the rooms seem empty, but I see them with me when I hide. You say I'm doomed 'cause I don't think like you, honey. I'd rather be with the skeleton crew. This place is full of bones. Standing, waiting in the dark. They take the stones that you throw and use them to make a spark. Through the flames we dance around. Me and these bones, we burn it down. This place is full of bones. Burn it to the ground. Yeah, we burn it down. Oh!
That was Lulu and the Black Sheep, everybody, playing their new track, Bones, that you can find at luluandtheblacksheep.bandcamp.com. That came out just a couple days ago, and we are real happy to give it a spin here for the first time on Downpour Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I'm still Lightning Luke, and up next we have another request. This is from Cass Gamblin, who requested this. This is I Bought You a Blanket in Mexico by Walter, etc., and this track just came out a few days ago as well on March 27th. Once again, this is by special request, Walter, etc., playing I Bought You a Blanket in Mexico right here on Downpour Radio.
I bought you a blanket in Mexico. It had a Baby blue, green and pink stripes. I was so excited to give it to you that it could be a gesture to usher in a new life. Cause darling, I don't wanna go on tour anymore. I don't wanna play this game chasing popularity. I wanna get a normal job, settle down in this funny town. I've been thinking about marriage for the first time in my life. But when I got home, you were immediately acting weird. I could tell you were drunk. Said a quick thanks for the gift, then stood up for a hug. I still wonder to this day why you were sitting on the rug. I said, darling, this house was wonderful. We camped alone, it's a perfect point break. How was your work trip? What's wrong? No, it's been a minute since we talked, but really it's only been a couple weeks plus some days. And after some pressure you cracked and said you needed a break. Breaks after high school is a fate of change. College kids who grow bored and wanna find some strange. How long have you planned this? Rip out the band-aid, just go. I wanna get someone to be with me who doesn't wanna be with me. There, I bought you a blanket in Mexico. It had all the colors I knew you'd love. I was so stuck to give it to you, but now I use it as a pillow.
In the dawn of desperation, when the peasants are beheading every emperor with a golden crown, first they'll stand with one another, then they'll turn against each other under thunder on a battleground. With their torches, tar, and feathers, off to round up all the witches on a rail to run 'em out of town. In a kingdom that's collapsing, I'm relaxing on the ashes, playing fiddle, watching Rome burn down. You can dance around the fire with the hand that holds the power, or go cower with the gagged and bound. While the vultures count the profits and the hawks are launching rockets in a garden growing mushroom clouds. You can storm the ivory towers, but the knight in shining armor's days are numbered on the body count. So I'm laughing up at heaven in the arms of Armageddon, playing fiddle, watching Rome burn down. You can find me playing fiddle, watching Rome burn down, playing fiddle, watching Rome burn down. You can find me playing fiddle, watching Rome burn down, playing fiddle, watching Rome burn down. Where the tricksters and the grifters and the rich carnival barkers sell their sulfur to a spellbound crowd, buying tickets to the promise of a better world to come, and left with nothing when their hope runs out. There's a lifeboat overflowing on a rising violent ocean in the darkness where the sailors drown. But I'm smiling on an island by the tidal wave horizon, playing fiddle, watching Rome burn down. If you're screaming in defiance, are you David or Goliath when the riot rages all around? Call it vengeance, call it justice, call it progress, call it selfish. Either way, I'm gonna have my doubts. Maybe I'm just causing problems, thinking I know how to solve them, so for once I'm gonna shut my mouth. Waiting silent in the shadows like a devil at the crossroads, playing fiddle, watching Rome burn down. You can find me playing fiddle, watching Rome burn down, playing fiddle, watching Rome burn down. You can find me playing fiddle, watching Rome burn down, playing fiddle, watching Rome burn down. While the charlatans are shouting propaganda on the mountain, truth is spoken to an empty house. If you ask for my opinion, are you trying to make a difference or find something to complain about? When indulgence and consumption leave a landscape of destruction where it's far too late to turn back now, I'll be moving on my own way down the existential highway, playing fiddle, watching Rome burn down. You can find me playing fiddle, watching Rome burn down, playing fiddle, watching Rome burn down. You can find me playing fiddle, watching Rome burn down, playing fiddle, watching Rome burn down.
That was Matt Pless, everybody, playing Nero, and that track takes a whole new meaning on now that we're in this quarantine and kind of a dystopian future kind of song. And hey, we're a little bit in a dystopian future right now. And we were talking a little bit on YouTube's, a few of you out there who have been listening about how Matt Pless sounds a little bit like Bob Dylan. And I'll tell you that I am a big fan of Bob Dylan, and he had a big influence on my music when I was growing up, for sure. But I swear, Bob Dylan wishes he sounded like that now. Bob Dylan's latest track is a 15-minute track about the assassination of President Kennedy, which, of course, was just what we needed, I guess, right now in 2020, here in April, in the middle of a pandemic. I'd say Matt Pless probably got things a little bit more on the nose here, and that track takes on a whole new meaning. Matt Pless, a friend of the show, has called in before, and we send our love out to Matt if he's listening out there, if he happens to hear this later. And we're going to keep things rolling here. Up next, we have another fantastic request from one of y'all. This one comes from Angie Mima out there on the YouTubes. This next track is No Ambition by Cardboard Homestead. This is off of their album Punctual that came out in 2017. Once again, this is No Ambition by Cardboard Homestead, and you're listening to it right here on Downpour Radio.
I have no ambition or to carry the world. I just wanna get fucked up and call off of work. But what does it get you? Hangover, no pay. And fuck it, who's kidding? Who needs cash anyway? And I'll say that I took, and I'll scream it from the roof. We're all slaves to the green
That's Swing Tea by Crow Cavalier, everybody, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio. Thanks so much for listening. And up next, we're going to go back to our good friend Rascal Miles. And this is off of their Bridge City Sessions session. This is one of the tracks that they did, one of 3 that Rascal Miles did, and we enjoyed all 3 of them. And we played one of them on the show yesterday, but we're going to play the second one here today. And maybe we'll play another one next week as well once we get through tomorrow's show. Tomorrow's show will, as always, be a special short show, an hour before the Coping with Dystopia live stream that gets going at 6 p.m. on the East Coast, which is 3 p.m. here on the West Coast. And, of course, that's normally in the middle of our show, but we'll just be doing an hour show where we'll be handling the pre-show here every week on Downpour Radio, and we'll be talking with Ian Archibald, who's one of the people who organize the Coping with Dystopia live streams, and we may get a chance to reach out to a couple of those performers who are playing this week as well, including our good friends the Tejon Street Corner Thieves and our good friend Clyde McGee, who will both be playing sets on that tomorrow. And anyway, that was all to say that we'll probably have to wait to hear the third of Rascal Miles' songs on the Bridge City Sessions session that they did, but we're going to listen to the second one right now. This is Wallflowers by Rascal Miles, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
Just as I the silence you choose when you're internally screaming? When will you be brave enough to say that you're too tired of life getting in the way? When you ask who's to blame, do you hesitate to raise your hand? But you're not the only one who's ever fought with the mirror. And if it was up to me, you would quit your stupid job. You'd live down the street so you could see me more than once or twice a year. You'd stick your keys into the ignition. The point is to be with whom you hold dear. And the times you'll regret the most are the times you are not yourself. Yeah, the times I want you to know are the kind that take you home. And if I can give you one thing, it's the knowledge that I care. And when you forget that, I'll just say it louder. When I see you break down in my car and you can't quite get back to who you are, it breaks my heart. It's when you feel alone. I need you to know that you're not. And are we wallflowers watching the dance? Are we flies hiding in a nightstand lamp? Are we 20 years from now going through old photos, wishing we would have been more present?
Thanks for listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. That's our good friend Rascal Miles playing their track Wallflowers on their Bridge City session. And you can go find those over on YouTube if you want to check them out after the show. There are, in fact, 3 songs, including that beautiful ballad that we just heard. And we're going to keep things rolling here. We're just about at the top of the hour, and once we get there, we're going to be hearing from our friend Captain ACAB of the Window Smashing Job Creators, who will tell us a little bit about the story behind Olympia's Blues, their great hit track off their first album. And in the meantime here, we're going to keep it rolling with the tunes here, and our good friend King Strang put out an album that came out just a little bit ago, and we're going to go ahead and play you a little bit for it here. This is an album that came out just over a week ago called The Second Coming. This is, let's go ahead and play Promised Land by King Strang. This is Promised Land by King Strang off the brand new album Second Coming, and you're listening to it right here on Downpour Radio.
Another day in the street, just another night in golden cheek. Well, I need new clothes, need new life. Ain't nothing out here gonna hear my style. Well, here I am, it's after dark, sitting alone in Rockland Park. Well, don't know how long I'll stay.
move on.
All right, everybody. That was "Promised Land" by King Strang off the album "The Second Coming." You could hear me telling him to move on there on the last minute there. Thanks so much for listening to Downpour Radio. I'm still Lightning Luke, and we've come to the top of the hour here, so it's time to hear from our good friend Captain ACAB of the Window Smashing Job Creators, who told us about Olympia's Blues that we'll be hearing a little bit later on in the show. Let's jump in right here to listen to Captain ACAB, who, for a little bit of background, got held up down in California on their way down to Folk Shit Up festival that was going to be in Texas, that unfortunately had to be postponed, but we hope they can still find a way to make it out there in August as well, though we know that it was their first tour, and so hopefully they have the infrastructure in place to get out on the road again. If you enjoy what you're hearing, definitely go find them on Bandcamp and buy whatever merch you can from them, because they loaded up to go down to the festival just like I did and a bunch of other people did, and didn't end up getting to unload that merch when they got to Folk Shit Up, so a bunch of people are stuck with a bunch of their merch right now. So go online and help out the Window Smashing Job Creators. There's a lot of them, and so you could be doing them a good service. And if you are still planning on catching that rescheduled version of Folk Shit Up, you can try and get them out there and make sure that it works for them if you just go online and buy their new album, Full Unemployment, or buy some of the wonderful merch that they have. I believe they even have some of those ska rags left. Those were fantastic. And anyway, without further ado, here's Captain ACAB telling you a little bit about Olympia's Blues, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
So it was originally a silly song that was designed for anarchist milieus and leftists in Olympia, with a bunch of inside jokes along the way. And the song actually came from a hip-hop song that went, I smell bacon, I smell grease, it must be the Spanaway police. And some of the younger kids in Olympia used to sing that in high school, especially the person who helped adapt it to Olympia Police, Damien, who was the drummer with us for many shows and will probably come back in the future for a couple shows as well. And that's kind of how that song developed, and we kind of wrote a 1-4-5 progression for the melody and the chords underneath it. It originally had a different melody in the hip-hop song as the chorus. And then the next part, the State Patrol part, is especially just like one of these inside jokes for Olympia. In 2016, there was an occupation of public bathrooms that were closing at 8 p.m. in such a way that made it so people who were houseless or otherwise needed access to bathrooms in that area were then deprived of that basic necessity. And the occupation was with a very clear demand to make it so the bathrooms were 24/7 and accessible to all who needed it in the area. And there were about 40, 50 people who came to these bathrooms to occupy it with a huge mutual aid set up outside with free food and some free clothes being distributed. I think Food Not Bombs helped for a lot of those protests. And the police came in full force and evacuated protesters from the premise. And they did that a couple nights in a row. The protests went on, and the police kept attacking people. And one of the slogans for that protest was, the State Patrol, they got no soul, they won't let us poop in the pooping hole, which was when the State Patrol started attacking the protesters with rubber bullets and tear gas. That was what people were chanting at them, and that happened through like me whispering to one of the radical cheerleaders that would be a funny chant at that moment. So somehow that got immortalized in song. And the rest of the song, there's this city manager, Steve Hall, who's kind of was like a local mini dictator of sorts in Olympia, who had extreme amount of policy-making power and basically ran this town very autocratically. And that was kind of a little joke at him. And he has now been dethroned, actually, through...
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah, so Steve Hall's now been dethroned, but the song I don't think was ever about him. It was more about the position itself being the problem.
Right.
And that kind of forms a lot of the Olympia inside jokes that made their way into that song.
Yeah, well, I think it's really cool too because when you've gone around and I've heard you play that in other places that y'all switch out the name for whatever town you're in. It's kind of cool because it like immediately bring like in addition to what was behind it and the organizing that y'all were actually doing in terms of just the musical side of it, when you sing that at the end of your shows with whatever in whatever town you're in and really put that name in, even if though it's just like a simple switch to the song, I feel like it really brings people together. And one of the things I really love about the Window Smashing Job Creators is that it's almost like there's no distinction between where the band ends and the audience begins, and that aspect of it in terms of it all being almost a Window Smashing Job Creators collective more than just like recording artist or whatever, and that there's actually something behind that is really powerful, and I really, really appreciate what y'all do.
Yeah, thanks a ton. I think one of the important things about that song is a lot of the local things we have here in Olympia, as far as police brutality or having an autocratic city government, a hierarchical city government. These are universal phenomena that everybody who is living under a state system has to deal with. So even though we talk about some local politics here and there, I think it definitely like reaches beyond that to like wherever we go.
Right, and the kind of specificity of the inside jokes, as you put it, almost kind of make it feel more like a touchstone for other people because of that, because it's something that they can relate back to what's happened with them. Yeah, I really obviously love the song and love the band, and thanks so much for calling in and telling that story. I think people are going to really enjoy hearing that.
Fuck yeah, thanks for having me on. It's an honor.
That was, again, Captain ACAB from the Window Smashing Job Creators talking about their fantastic track, Olympia's Blues, and how they occupied a public bathroom that the manager, Steve Hall, city manager at the time, was using his authority to try and turn that, as they put it, turn that part of Olympia into a mall, and they were keeping homeless and houseless folks away from using a public bathroom at night, and so the Window Smashing Job Creators, never one to shy away from standing up to an injustice, went out there, and as the Captain ACAB just said, you heard that the police showed up in full force, but the Window Smashing Job Creators showed up in full force as well, and that anthem that they wrote is certainly one of our favorite tracks, and one that I think a lot of people kind of assume has kind of a juvenile joking meaning behind it, and hearing that it was actually about organizing and trying to do some good, it was really interesting. And so we're going to hear that song next for y'all, and this is the Window Smashing Job Creators again, who you just heard the ringleader of, Captain ACAB. Thanks so much for calling in and being a part of Downpour Radio, if you're out there listening. And we'll probably hear a little bit from the end of my conversation with the ringleader of the Window Smashing Job Creators as well a little bit later in the show. It's not quite as serious, but we were just kind of jawing after we talked about that, and we're talking about how we've been staying busy and had a little bit of an exchange over what we've been doing to keep ourselves entertained here, which I think you might find kind of interesting, or maybe not. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll think we're a bunch of nerds who are talking about something you do. Well, we'll leave it until later, and maybe you'll love it. Maybe I should stop selling myself short here and get back to the music. Yeah, let's get back to the music here. This is Olympia's Blues from the Window Smashing Job Creators off of their 2018 self-titled album. Once again, that's Olympia's Blues, which you just heard the story behind here on Downpour Radio. This is the Window Smashing Job Creators. I'm Lightning Luke. Thanks so much for joining us. And yeah, we'll be here for the next 2 hours with lots of more music, including this one next here, Olympia's Blues by the Window Smashing Job Creators. And you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
of City Hall. He was turned the city into a musty hall. The manager of City Hall. He was turned the city into a mall. If you wanna do your city a favor, then you should run for mayor in order to abolish the position of mayor. I smell bacon, I smell grease. It must be Olympia police. I smell bacon, I smell grease. It must be Olympia police. I smell bacon, I smell grease. It must be Olympia police. I smell bacon, I smell grease. It must be Olympia police. Hold me like some broken bone man got in a mess. I've been here before, and I sit around and count the cracks, the tangled in the wall, and I stare through that window pane. Loaded down to the levee, bring your box of broken bottles so they can drift back down toward the sea. The muddy Mississippi sing the song of St. Louis, and they all sound the same to me. I've been down here for too long, and I can see the stars tonight. Everywhere I go, I see the fruit of wicked seed that been sown in the swampy soil. And I stroll down to the corner with a nickel and a dime, and I ain't coming back this time. 'Cause sometimes it's the weather, and other times the rain. Sometimes you gotta try again. So bury me in concrete, and I'm green and purple bees till that brass band rolls round again. I've been here for too long, and I can see the stars tonight.
That was Holy Locust playing Down Too Long, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio. Thanks so much for listening to it, everybody. We are into our heavy rotation hour here and taking requests as well, and we're going to play a song that is on our heavy rotation playlist. This is Uncle Vern Might Wear Wool by Saint Cinder off of their 2016 album Vagabond Dreams. We're going to drop a link to our heavy rotation playlist in case any of y'all want to keep the downpour pouring after the show. But without further ado, here's Saint Cinder playing Uncle Vern Might Wear Wool, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
It's the middle of a day, and the hills are dusty rolling. but feel free to forgive me when I'm gone. Now don't look back, I'll just keep moving on. And don't you let my death weigh on your mind. I say please, don't waste your precious time.
Thanks for listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. That last track was Uncle Vern Might Wear Wool. That's by our friend Saint Cinder. And up next, we have a request from our friend Cass out there on YouTube. This is The Cold Front by the Taxpayers off of their album To Risk So Much for One Damn Meal that came out way back in 2010, a decade ago. Once again, this is The Cold Front by the Taxpayers, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio. That was the Taxpayers, everybody, playing The Cold Front by a special request, and we have another request up next. This one comes from our good friend Michael Reed out there on Facebook, or excuse me, on YouTube. This next song is Just Add Water by the Looms off of their album Healthy Dose, an EP that came out last year by the Looms. Once again, Healthy Dose by the Healthy Dose is the album, the artist is the Looms, and the song is Just Add Water, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
I'm busking off to nowhere. I'm hoping to hear you there. I need to see some originality fucking somewhere. I've been rooming with the mice. I've been taking their advice. Your world could be some frontier, but that future ain't so clear. Spin a chance, roll your dice. Imagine how free your life could be. Don't lose your humanity. I know just what you need. Just add water and a healthy dose of anarchy. My praxis has been slipping. Yellow teeth from too much sinning. Modern life's like a cult, and I'm hoping for a bolt any second. Slaving away to your labor, and you barely know your neighbor. From the squatter to the schools, every gene's all the fools breaking free and breaking rules. Imagine how free your world could be. anarchy.
Pick it up!
Imagine how free our world could be. Reclaim your humanity. You know just what you need. Just add water, I said, just add water. Polish hierarchy. Just add water, I said, just add water. Prepare the guillotine. Just add water and a healthy dose of anarchy.
Here's our friend Jake Orvis, everybody. This song is called Streets, and it is off the 2010 album It's All Been Said. Once again, Jake Orvis playing Streets on Downpour Radio.
Broken down at the shoulder of the road, coming for a ride as I'm shaking off the cold. Just a few more miles and I might have made it home at last. Be there with my friends, talk about the past. My mistakes, they have always paved the way. Direction of life, stories of the day, but now I'm gonna fade. Ghost of the days, now I'm gonna fade. Specter of things that change, now I'm gonna fade. Face without a name, now I'm gonna fade. The streets won't be the same. Nights in jail with black eyes and busted teeth. Cold steel bars, flip-flops, and a cot where I can sleep. No more cigarettes, no one to curl up with. Muttering suicidal thoughts underneath my breath. All I want in this nightmare I call life was ride the road with stories told, an outlaw way of life, but now I'm gonna fade. Ghost of those days, now I'm gonna fade. Specter of things that change, now I'm gonna fade. Face without a name, now I'm gonna fade. The streets won't be the same. Now I'm gonna fade. Ghost of those days, now I'm gonna fade. Specter of things that change, now I'm gonna fade. Face without a name, now I'm gonna fade. The streets won't be the same.
I've been down a hard road or two, taught myself to survive and how to sing the blues. Trouble bound, been for all my life, heading down a lonely road paved with pain and strife. Tramping round and heading to and fro, I'll stick around for another drink, but then I gotta go.
Now I'm gonna fade. Ghost of those days, now I'm gonna fade. Specter of things that change, now I'm gonna fade. Face without a name. Now I'm gonna fade. The streets won't be the same. Whiskey bottles broken on my floor. Grab my bag and hat, heading out the kitchen door. Love I've lost still lives within my mind. Praying for a good night's sleep, but that seems hard to find. Every day is a fight with all my pain. I was born to cry, forever drifting in the rain. But now I'm gonna fade. Ghost of those days, now I'm gonna fade. Specter of things that change, now I'm gonna fade. Face without a name, now I'm gonna fade. The streets won't be the same.
That's Streets by Jake Orvis here on Downpour Radio. Thanks for listening, everybody. And up next, we have our good friends Chatterbox and the Latter-day Satanists. This is off of their 2013 album Talk is Cheap, Guns Are Expensive. And this next song is Strong Hearts Bleed Out First. Once again, that's Chatterbox and the Latter-day Satanists playing Strong Hearts Bleed Out First here on Downpour Radio.
Different too. Do I have a strong brain? Well, sure, I'm thinking harder. Maybe it's just hard to think. I can't really decide. I've got a short fuse and overreacted. By now I have lost my train of thought. And I bet if you cut one of my main arteries, I'd bleed up faster than you. And I count up my strong heart and all. Bigger they are, the harder they'll fall, and the stronger they'll be, the faster they'll bleed. The one with the most cash is the only one that will last. So I'm fucking sorry, but your bullshit is out of my grasp. And I wonder what it'd be like, put your life in a bottle. I feel like I've done that before. Or is it putting your death in that bottle of stress? And I think that I've done that too. And wait, so in turn my strong heart to be the death of me, 'cause out the faster I'll bleed. And what kind of bottle would I be in? There's no bottle in or some James diversion. Or maybe some drunk asshole put me in a moldy old PBR can. 'Cause he didn't think I was worth any more than that. Made my grubby asses in. And most of these people make me fucking sick. I have to take it over by just backing towards bricks. If you haven't sold out, are the ones you bought in. So there's nothing left to hate. I gotta thank God for my friends. There's nothing left to hate. I gotta thank God for my.
ocean, see my old friends hanging round on their plane. On their plane. Got the weight of the world on me. I love my baby, but she don't love me. I got the weight of the world on me. I love my baby, but she don't love me. Got the weight of the world on me. I love my baby, but she don't love me. I got the weight of the world on me. I love my baby, but she don't love me. Got the weight of the world on me. I love my baby, but she don't love me. I got the weight of the world on me. I love my baby, but she don't love me. Now I got
You're listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. That was, as always, our good friends Yes Ma'am playing Weight of the World. 6.5 minutes of fun there off of their album Bless This Mess that came out back in 2015. I'm still Lightning Luke. We got an hour and 20 minutes left on the show, so don't touch that dial. I don't know what the dial would do for you on the YouTubes anyway, but don't touch it anyway. It might hurt you. This next song we're going to play is Misery's Company by the Hills and the Rivers, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio. Once again, that is Misery's Company off of the 2016 album Apocalyptic Dreams by the Hills and the Rivers. Once again, Misery's Company on Downpour Radio.
Misery's company is all you can share as you add an empty bottle to the pile at your chair, saying life is meaningless, life is unfair. You look me straight in the eye and tell me we're all gonna die, but you look at the world through a screen in your head, see everything living and think that it's dead, a separate cell cut off from the rest. But tell me now, what do we do when the world looks right back at you? What is the self that you wanna be? The thinker, the willer, the watcher, the peace, a bundle of senses and anxiety, doer of all we done, the player of games to be won. But you look at yourself through a darker mirror, waiting for something different to appear. You sit there forever, alone in your fears. Stand up from down on the floor, walk over and open the door. But I am not afraid of the weight of my body. I am not ashamed of being human, for surely what is born will return to the compost. But I do not think that is all that I am. I could be the wind moving down through the valley. I could be the sun looking down through the trees. I could be the forest alive, the tongue, mouth, and eyes, a multitude of realities. I am not alone in a cold, dark cosmos. I am just an atom of a much larger self. For surely what is born will return to the compost. But the body that will rot is not all that I have. I am not afraid. I am not alone. I am not afraid. I
Well, folks, that's the Hills and Rivers playing Misery's Company, and the Hills and Rivers are a fantastic band that are a part of the Fourth River Music Collective that is out of Pittsburgh. They have a huge house and some property that they run a festival out of every year, and a few bands that live there. And I had the good fortune of getting to go out there with King Strang last year and playing. And we normally, when we're at festivals, you know how it is at festivals, you spend some time listening to music and some time just hanging out with friends. But at Fourth River Festival, everything was so amazing. Every artist that was playing was so incredible, from the Hills and Rivers to Rent Strike to Millie Raccoon to all sorts of other bands that were playing there. We didn't miss a single set. We went and showed up first thing when we got up in the morning. We would go on whatever activity they had, and sometimes that was some sort of educational experience. Like one day we got to go and walk around and learn about all of the plant life by one of the from one of the members of the Hills and Rivers, who was educating us on the sorts of things that were out there. And it actually came in kind of handy because we learned about a couple of edible flowers that, when we had gotten good and sauced up by the end of the night and we didn't feel like going anywhere and all the food had run out, we went around looking for those flowers to keep ourselves held over until the morning. And I swear, those bands were so good and the people were so nice out there. We stood there and we did not miss a single set for 3 days. Very proud of that, and very proud of all the work that they do in the Hills and the Rivers and what they do at Fourth River Music Collective. And you can go hear their Busking Songs compilation on Spotify, their second volume of that, and I believe you can find the first volume over on their Bandcamp page as well. Definitely go check out the Fourth River Music Collective, and we certainly will keep checking up with them here on Downpour Radio. And how are you guys staying out there? How are you doing? How are you staying safe, staying busy? We're wondering, and we asked that question when we were getting off the phone with Captain ACAB. We heard that interview a little bit earlier, where, well, not so much interview, but that story earlier where Captain ACAB of the Window Smashing Job Creators was telling us about how they came to write the song Olympia's Blues. And when we were getting off the phone, we got a little bit of B-roll here that I think you guys might find kind of interesting. So I'm just going to play a couple minutes from our conversation of what we've been doing to stay busy and stay sane here during the outbreak and during the quarantine. Let's listen back in. Again, this is Captain ACAB from the Window Smashing Job Creators talking about, how we've been staying busy. I'll let you get back to what you're doing.
Watching Star Trek.
Yo, which Star Trek are you watching? Because my girlfriend and I are watching it too.
I'm watching The Next Generation.
Oh, we're on Voyager. Have you
Nice.
ever Have you watched Voyager?
I haven't watched Voyager.
Oh man, have you? Well, are you on your first time through Next Generation, or you've seen it before?
I haven't seen the entirety of it, so I'm kind of perusing through it.
Perusing
now.
through it, right
Yeah.
on. I would highly recommend moving on to Voyager at some point, if you are curious, because it basically is just, it's like, I don't know. What I love about it is it's just for Star Trek people. Like it's very in the, like, if you like Star Trek, here is more of that stuff rather than like some of the newer Star Trek that's happened that's like been more aimed at people who aren't Star Trek fans. So
Right.
Voyager, I highly recommend it.
Have
It's
you
also
seen-
got like
have
a
you
Lost in Space aspect to it that's really cool.
Yeah, it's the perfect quarantine show. Just
Totally.
Star Trek generally.
Star Trek in general.
It's just so relaxing in its own little way. Have you seen Picard yet?
I haven't, but I'm at my family's house and my dad has been bugging me to watch it.
Yeah, it was nonstop crying. It's beautiful.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
I think it's really well done.
All right. Well, I'll definitely have to check it out.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. I'll let you get back to what you're to your episode, and you can go back to the Alpha Quadrant, and I'll go back to the Delta Quadrant here in a second. I'm gonna watch Voyager. But yeah, have a good one. Hope you guys
take
are
care.
staying safe.
Yeah, likewise.
All right.
Peace.
See you later. Once again, that was Captain ACAB and I talking about how we've been staying entertained, and Star Trek really is the perfect show for the quarantine right now, and I do recommend Voyager if you haven't seen it. I know that might not interest some of you who think that we're all just a bunch of nerds talking about this now, but I swear, there's like 25 episodes in each season, and there's 7 seasons of both Voyager and Next Generation, so it is plenty to keep you busy, and it's got some really good escapism, and in fact, some pretty good ideals, as you might imagine. There are reasons why the window smashing job creators, the communists that they are, might enjoy Star Trek. And so we're going to play their next song. All of that was really just to lead into this next song we're going to do. This is the window smashing job creators, once again, off of their album Full Unemployment. This came out last year, and it's a really fantastic album. I do recommend that y'all go give it a listen, and we're going to give it a listen right here. This is Communism in Space, and stick around and keep an ear out for a little Star Trek reference in the middle of it here, like we were just talking about. Once again, this is Communism in Space by the window smashing job creators. I'm Lightning Luke, and you are listening to it all here on Downpour Radio.
1, 2.
Well, folks, that was our little tip of the cap to Star Trek. That was the window smashing job creators playing their track Communism in Space, which is, of course, what Star Trek is. Lots of people won't want to tell you that or admit that, but that's what we know it really is. It's just a communist utopia in the future where they go around in space. Anyway, we're going to get out of the nerdy stuff here and on to the last hour of our show, which is all dedicated to you having a good time here during the quarantine. It is our Thirsty Thursday episode of Downpour Radio, and we are ready to get your Thirsty Thursday happy hour going here next with our good friends, the Tejon Street Corner Thieves. This is Goers, a track about a wonderful bar out in, well, where is it here? It's in Missouri. Is it in St. Louis? No, it's in Kansas. It's in Kansas City, Missouri. Kansas City, of course, not in Kansas, for those of you who might think it is. Little switcheroo they pulled there, but Kansas City, Missouri, where there is a bar called the Westport Saloon, and the Tejon Street Corner Thieves love playing there and get taken care of. I highly recommend saying that you, I highly recommend stopping by if you're ever in the area, and if you are going by, just say the Tejon Street Corner Thieves sent you, they'll either kick you out or get you drunk. Anyway, this is Goers off of the album Goers by the Tejon Street Corner Thieves. Once again, Goers by the Tejon Street Corner Thieves, and you are listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
Bartender's my preacher, and that cab will deliver me from this life I've been a living, full of sin and misery. 'Cause we're all goers at the Westport Saloon. This bar stool is my confession booth. We all gather for communion. Let's all drink until we're blind. It's okay 'cause they say that Jesus turned that water into wine. Well, all your sins are forgiven. Everybody get in line. Well, offer up their tithing, 'cause it's almost closing time. 'Cause we're all goers at the Westport Saloon. This bar stool is my confession booth. This is my religion. These are our church pews. This bar is my steeple, and my praise is the blues. Well, everybody gather under this roof. Everybody's welcome. Start spreading the news. 'Cause we're all goers at the Westport Saloon. This bar stool is my confession booth. 'Cause we're all goers at the Westport Saloon. This bar stool is my confession booth. This bar stool is my confession booth.
That was the Tejon Street Corner Thieves playing Goers, everybody, and that kicks off our Thirsty Thursday happy hour version of, or edition of Downpour Radio, and thanks so much for listening. I am still Lightning Luke, and up next, we're going to play our good friends Days and Days. This is My Darling Dopamine by Days and Days, and I'm sure y'all could use a little dopamine in your life right now. Again, this is My Darling Dopamine, the new single from Days and Days, and you're listening to it right here on Downpour Radio.
When everything seems all sped up and you can't clear your mind, your palms are all sweaty, though try as you might, you just much that one mind can take. Sometimes life's overwhelming, we need an escape. Oh my darling, dopamine is the reward outweigh the risk. I'm on the fence, is a numbing normalcy on tap, worth a week trembling and sick. But every time I tell myself the last, cause goddamn, the price is high to run in comfort. This grueling routine I've succumbed to has grown so fucking old, I just want out. Another day and one less dollar, one more year we soaked in beer, and we're content to live in squalor just so long as we can cheers. One more lesson we've forgotten, once again we've gotten rotten drunk. This time we really fucked it up so far beyond repair. It's a tough thing to realize you're only a blip. We rely on the comforts we smoke and we sip. The grand scheme, it seems that the point of existing is trying our best to forget. Oh my darling, dopamine is a reward outweigh the risk. I'm on the fence, is a numbing normalcy on tap, worth a week trembling and sick. And every time I tell myself the last, cause goddamn, the price is high to run in comfort. This grueling routine I've succumbed to has grown so fucking old, I just want out. Oh my darling, dopamine is the reward outweigh the risk. I'm on the fence, it's a numbing normalcy on tap, worth a week trembling and sick. And every time I tell myself the less, cause goddamn, the price is high to run in comfort. This grueling routine I've succumbed to has grown so fucking old, I just want out.
That was Days and Days playing their new track, My Darling Dopamine, here on Downpour Radio. Thanks for staying with us, everybody. We're in the last hour of the show, and so we're playing all of our Thirsty Thursday hits. Songs about drinking and otherwise getting intoxicated and drying out a little bit later as well. And we heard from Days and Days there and the Tejon Street Corner Thieves before that. And Tejon, you could practically describe as a whiskey-themed band, but you may be surprised to hear this, or you might not be surprised to hear this, that the Tejon Street Corner Thieves are not the only band that sings about whiskey. It's a common theme amongst other bands as well, including our next band that we're going to play for you here. This is from the Jack Maybe Project off of their album Old Man Mountain and Other Cautionary Tales. Jack Maybe, a wonderful musician from Portland, and we're happy to highlight him anytime we can here on the show. Up next, we've got Whiskey Song by the Jack Maybe Project, once again off of the album Old Man Mountain and Other Cautionary Tales, and you are listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
Take a shot of whiskey and go to bed, and make sure the ginger runs straight to my head. Nobody knows the trouble I am. We mask it with a smile as we shake hands and we play pretend. Echo dreams swims into my head. Looks like I'm falling into bed. I so give us a smile, tell us a joke, say what you mean to say. And if you're the lighter, just light up the smoke and just ignore my pain. Echo
That's our friend, the Jack Maybe Project, playing Whiskey Song off of their album Old Man Mountain and Other Cautionary Tales. That came out back in 2017. I'm still Lightning Luke, everybody. We got a little bit more here on the show. A little under an hour left of drinking songs and otherwise inebriating material here on Downpour Radio. And what happens when you have a little bit too much to drink? Sometimes you wake up the next morning and you think, oh, I should go out and get myself a big plate of chicken and waffles or something like that. But what happens a little bit later in the day, inevitably by the time you get out of bed, you feel awful and you don't have an appetite for chicken anymore. And that's what this next song is. This is by our friend Blind Boy Paxton, otherwise known as Jerome Paxton. Blind Boy Paxton, a beautiful, beautiful musician, and we're going to play some music here. This is the first time we've gotten a chance to play them on the show, and I'm happy to be able to debut it here. This is Lost My Appetite for Chicken by Blind Boy Paxton. That's off of the 2015 record Recorded Music for Your Entertainment. Once again, this is Blind Boy Paxton playing Lost My Appetite for Chicken here on Downpour Radio.
Sam Green was a man who loved chicken better than he did his wife. Take any chances for a chicken meal, the boy would even risk his life. Passing by a restaurant, he had an appetite like a horse. Said, I want me a 7-course dinner. I want chicken with every course. Well, he ordered fried chicken, roast stuffed chicken, chicken chop suey too. He ordered chicken salad, chicken pie, and chicken croquettes, and chicken stew. Waiter charged him $15 and it took his breath away. Well, he fainted when he went to pay the bill, but revived, you heard him say, said, I lost my appetite for chicken. These words, the guy began to howl. Oh, no more you find a child a picking, or the carcass of a big fat fowl. Oh, pork chops are wrapped around my diet, and chicken ain't no more my friend. I done lost my appetite for fowl. I done lost my appetite for chicken. They said the price you pay for chicken round here is a dirty, awful price. And if I can't get them cheap in the daytime, I'll get them free at night. While passing by the old chicken shack, he stole everything he found loose. He begun to swiping them files so fast, by mistake he stole a goose. Well, passing by police shack, goose began to quack, and the sheriff caught him there right on, with them chickens on his back. Judge sentenced that boy Samuel Green to a $1,000 bill. He was crying along and he was singing this song as they let him off to jail. He said, I lost my appetite for chicken. These words the guy began to howl. Oh, no more you find a child a picking on the carcass of a big fat fowl. Oh, pork chops are wrapped around my diet, and chicken ain't no more my friend. I done lost my appetite for fowl. I done lost my appetite for chicken. Boys, I done lost my appetite for chicken. Oh, these words the guy began to howl. Oh, no more you find a child a picking or the carcass of a big fat fowl. And the pork chops are wrapped around my diet, and chicken ain't no more my friend. I done lost my appetite for fowl. Well, I done lost my appetite for CHICK. Yeah.
right, everybody, that's Lost My Appetite for Chicken, and indeed I have lost my appetite for fowl after listening to that song. That's by Blind Boy Paxton off of his 2015 album Recorded Music for Your Entertainment. Definitely go check out more of Blind Boy Paxton. His songs are fantastic and hilarious, just like that last one that you heard. And just like that, we're going to move on to another hangover song here. What you do after you finally do go out and you decide you lost your appetite for chicken and you gotta find something else to eat. Well, if you're in Texas, you're in luck, and the Urban Pioneers will tell you how. This is Hungover Texans off of the album Come Out Swingin' by the Urban Pioneers, and after that, we'll hear another song about moping around through the day trying to hide from the sun when you're trying to get through into the evening when you can start drinking again. And this is all part of our Thirsty Thursday edition of Downpour Radio. Here we hope you're starting your happy hour out fine here on DPR, and I'm still Lightning Luke. We've got about 45 more minutes on the show, and without further ado, here's Hungover Texans by the Urban Pioneers, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
Hot enchiladas and cold micheladas, a Saturday morning for me. A big old bowl of spicy menudo got me feeling as fine as I can be. 'Cause hungover Texans need Mexican breakfast after hard drinking night. Hungover Texans need Mexican breakfast. It's always done us alright. One broken bone and 2 bottles gone. Bonitos is calling my name. Greasy tortilla all covered with migas got me feeling as right as rain. 'Cause hungover Texans need Mexican breakfast after hard drinking night. Hungover Texans need Mexican breakfast. It's always done us alright. Homemade tortillas from a hot senorita, but wet brain has robbed me of words. She's hot as that salsa and sweet as horchata, but I can't think of a damn thing to say. 'Cause hungover Texans need Mexican breakfast after hard drinking nights. Hungover Texans need Mexican breakfast. It's always done us alright. Taco joints you see are all BYOB, so your day can start before you've left. And when you leave here and drink lots more beer, then you can come back in the morning. 'Cause hungover Texans need Mexican breakfast after hard drinking nights. Hungover Texans need Mexican breakfast. It's always done us alright. Yeah, hungover Texans need Mexican breakfast after hard drinking nights. Hungover Texans need Mexican breakfast. It's always done us alright.
Let me get a order of waveless rancheros, 3 chorizo and egg tacos, 1 breakfast burrito, and can I get green and red salsa? And a large horchata.
You're listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. That was Run from the Sun by the Bridge City Sinners, and that tune was mainly written by our good friend King Strang while he was sitting in his van down in San Francisco thinking about how long it was going to be until the sun went down. And we do appreciate y'all sticking with us here. We got a little bit more left on the show here as we kick off your Thursday happy hour here on Downpour Radio. And up next, some of y'all might not be the drinking type, so this next one's for you. This one is from our friends Beggars Canyon off of their album Volume 1 that came out in 2018. The song is called High, and once again, this is Beggars Canyon. You're listening to it here on Downpour Radio. The song is High. I'm Lightning Luke. Have a nice drink while you enjoy this next song, everybody. This is all for you. Beggars Canyon playing High on Downpour Radio coming up next.
I will fly away. Low as the rock that I've hit. It's an inevitable feeling, an irrevocable dealing of the cards. And I'm just laying here praying you'll tell me it's hard, harder than it seems. To know myself is my greatest disease. To fear all the things I don't know. Like a wayfaring stranger or a lamb in a manger, I'm scorned. And I'm just sitting here staring and bearing the north. Sing high, high and away. Sing high, high and away. Sing high, high and away. Sing high, high and away.
Say we're having a party, having a ball. Might have to catch me before I fall. Well, there's a man I know I got to call. If you got the money, he's got it all. We're swinging till morning and night. It's got the kind of stuff that make you feel alright. Now listen up, boys, they don't need to fight. My man's gonna be here all night till it turns your bad feelings into good. Do more often than I should. Rob me of all my dope, but it keeps me coming back for more. Said it keeps me feeling right as rain, and I sure can't feel any pain. Give me some of that good cocaine. me before I fall. Well, there's this man I know, baby, and you gotta call him. If you got the money, he's got it all. We're swinging to that morning light. He's got the kind of stuff make you feel alright. Now listen up, you boys, ain't no need to fight, 'cause my man's gonna be here all night. I said it turns your bad feelings into good. Do more often than I should. Rob me of all my dough, but it keeps me coming back for more. Said it keeps me feeling right as rain. I sure can't feel any pain. Give me some of that good coke. Give me some of that good blow. Give me some of that good cocaine.
Woo! That is King String, everybody, playing Cocaine if you're getting a little sleepy out there. And we're going to bring it back to the drinking songs here up next. We've been playing songs over the last week from our friends King Columbia, an old band that used to play here in Portland, kind of a five-headed monster of sorts, with our good friends Will St. John, Benny Gilbert, Jack Maybe, Joseph Wyatt, and me, myself, personally as well in that band. This next song is a good one that I think you're really going to enjoy off of our album Bad Water, called Bad Water, about drinking whiskey. And this is, again, Bad Water by King Columbia. You're listening to it right here on Downpour Radio.
Let's try it again.
Get drunk and be merry. She said, Posey, sustain my song. The sacred pine. Lord, can you free my tongue? She's out on the reef. Only be out there too. The milk white circle. Crawling across Persephone's room. She's in my heart. Always in my mind. She hung pretty petals high as the pigeon tongues would. Sunday these cities left his men crippled in the fields of control. The wildfires of water kindling my red nose veins. Can't suffer the river. The process ain't got no cane. She's in my heart. Bad water. Ease my mind. Bad water. Takes my time. Fredo, Fredo, Fredo. You broke my heart. He's playing on the hillside. I wanna be up there too. Couldn't suffer the water. Died for the better piece of food. She broke my heart. She only died for
was King Columbia, everybody, playing their track Bad Water off of the album Bad Water, and you can hear that track yourself and check out a little bit of video of us doing it back when we were still playing in King Columbia. You can find that over on Vimeo if you just search the... well, actually, I'll drop a little link in our comments here, but you just search Bad Water King Columbia, and it should come up on YouTube for you. Here is a little link that I'm going to drop right in. Oh, that's a crazy link. I'll find a better link for you, actually, a little bit later on the show. Thanks so much for listening. We're going to keep it going with a little bit more King Columbia. Like I said, kind of a five-headed beast, and it wasn't really like we were one band. We were just five people who loved playing music and backing each other up and made an album together and made an EP before that as well. And we're going to play a song off of that EP also about inebriation. This is from our good friend Will St. John. This is Higher Than a Fucking Kite off of the King Columbia EP, and you are listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
Feeling low and lonesome with my baby in mind, trying to find some way to pass the time. So I down a couple bottles and I try to unwind. Alcohol and memories leave me crying. I wanna be high, 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 higher than a fucking kite, but I'm feeling low, low, lower than a snake tonight. And I'm dizzy, spinning, stumbling around, I'm trying to force a smile, but I'm feeling low and lonesome with a baby of mine. Up a window and the rain is coming down. See a ray of sun shining through the clouds. So I slam the open window and I yank down the blinds and I build myself a prison with my baby in mind. I wanna be high, 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 higher than a fucking kite, but I'm feeling low, low, lower than a snake tonight. And I'm dizzy, spinning, stumbling around, and I'm trying to force a smile, but I'm feeling low and lonesome with a baby in mind. Low and lonesome with my baby in mind, feeling dysphoric and violently inclined. And I know my bad reactions are never far behind, and I'll leave a nice long letter for my baby to find. I wanna be high, 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 higher than a fucking kite, but I'm feeling low, low, lower than a snake tonight. And I'm dizzy, spinning, stumbling around, I'm trying to force a smile, but I'm feeling low and lonesome with the baby of mine. 'Cause I'm feeling low and lonesome with my baby in mind.
All right, everybody, that was King Columbia playing Higher Than a Fucking Kite, and I swear, when we recorded that album, I didn't even know we were making the album. I just showed up to rehearsal, and there were a couple mics up, and we went through the rehearsal, and then they were like, great, well, we'll have the EP done by the end of the day, and I was like, oh, no, that's what we're keeping, but in retrospect, it sounds pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Thanks for listening to Downpour Radio, everybody. I'm still Lightning Luke. We got about 20 more minutes left on the show. Thanks for sticking with us. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like button and go and subscribe so you can see Downpour Radio every time we go live on the air, which is Monday to Thursday from 2 until 5 Pacific time and Fridays from 2 until 3. Tomorrow we'll be doing a special show talking about the Coping with Dystopia live stream that happens every week now that we're locked in here, and we'll be talking with one of the organizers, Ian Archibald, who will be calling into the show and telling us all about what they have planned and what they've been working on and what this week's fundraiser is for. They've raised over $2,500 for organizations in the past 2 weeks, so definitely pop over to Coping with Dystopia tomorrow. We're really excited for the show. It includes some good friends of ours, including the Tejon Street Corner Thieves, who we'll hear in a little bit, and also our good friends Clyde McGee, who we heard a little bit earlier on the show and has called in a few times. But we're going to keep the music going up next. Maybe you aren't the kind of person who likes to go out and drink, and that's all right too. We don't blame you. You can have a good time anyway. This next song is Sobriety Song by Chatterbox and the Latter-day Satanists, once again off of their album Talk is Cheap, Guns Are Expensive, and you're listening to it here on Downpour Radio.
I've been good, I swear, about
sober in mind, past the clouds in my eyes. Oh no, there it is again. Running to the end of the bar, yet and play just one more song. Oh, the moon's too bright, I can see the light. You can go from the world to the dead if you please. Coming down with me. Hey, mister, did I get your name? What's that poison running through your veins? Hey, bartender, can I have the same? And don't 2 a.m. always come too soon. Back road off the highway on my way back home. Oh, taking my way, did you hear about home? Oh, no. Again, swerving down the road, singing all the songs I know. Hey DJ, just give me the note.
Heavy humid night, corner of Park and Main. Cast that first glance, your smile, my veins at maximum capacity. Blood pumping so fast, my girl, if looks gave heart attacks. Dangerous men in the shadows were like an audience, and even the meanest among them had a special little shine in their eyes when they saw us walk by. Walked about 20 blocks talking about good bars and better towns than this one. Kissed that first night. Then the rain opened up the sky to get one last kiss. I love you like an alcoholic. One last kiss.
I love you like a statuette.
One last kiss. I need you like I need a broken leg.
I was getting off the late shift, attempting to recover. Crumpled up the bus pass, tossed it into the gutter. Some handsome dog stranger, you were standing there in the corner. You had those compelling magnetized eyes. You must have lost when you got over. 7 blocks in, my fingers brushed your hand. I blushed, you laughed, but you seemed a little sad. I ain't one to jump a ship, but I absolutely knew I was 6 steps in when I fell into you.
One last kiss. I love you like a broken pot. One last kiss.
I love you like a pack of dogs.
One last kiss. I need you like I need a gaping head wound. One last kiss. I love you like an alcoholic. One last kiss.
I love you like a negligee.
One last kiss. I need you like I need a broken leg.
Taxpayers, everybody, playing their track I Love You Like an Alcoholic, a classic off of their album God Forgive These Bastards, songs from the forgotten life of Henry Turner that came out back in 2012. Well, we've come to the end of the line here, folks. Thanks so much for sticking with us through another wonderful edition of Downpour Radio. We will be back here tomorrow at 2 p.m. West Coast time. That's 5 p.m. out there on the East Coast to talk with our good friend Ian Archibald and a bunch of other people who will be playing in the Coping with Dystopia live stream show that'll be happening all through tomorrow night. We'll be playing all of their music from 2 p.m. until 3 p.m. here on the West Coast, and then right at 3 we'll be handing it right off to them, and they will be streaming through the end of the night. Thanks again so much for listening, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out the door. Really do appreciate you being here every day here with Downpour Radio. I'm still Lightning Luke, and to play us out, of course, is our good friends, the Tejon Street Corner Thieves, off of their 2016 album, Every Last Drop. This is Whiskey by the Tejon Street Corner Thieves. Once again, Whiskey by the Tejon Street Corner Thieves. I'm Lightning Luke. Have a good evening, everybody. We sure do hope you're having a nice little Thirsty Thursday there, whatever that means to you. And again, here's Tejon playing Whiskey on Downpour Radio.
Well, whiskey, come and take my pain, numb my heart and ease my brain. Oh, whiskey, don't you let me go. Whiskey, won't you help me hide this pain I have inside? Oh, whiskey, don't you let me go. Don't let me go. Well, this life that I've been living ain't too easy on the soul. Sometimes you gotta give in and let that whiskey flow. When you're feeling lost down and low. Well, whiskey, come and take my pain, numb my heart and ease my brain. Oh, whiskey, don't you let me go. Whiskey, won't you help me hide this pain I have inside? Oh, whiskey, don't you let me go. Don't let me go. Well, this bridge that I've been living under burnt it to the ground. I done packed my bags, now I'm leaving town. Ain't no peace or comfort I found. Well, whiskey, come and take my pain, numb my heart and ease my brain. Oh, whiskey, don't you let me go. Whiskey, won't you help me hide this pain I have inside? Oh, whiskey, don't you let me go. Don't let me go. Whiskey, come and take my pain, numb my heart and ease my brain. Oh, whiskey, don't you let me go. Whiskey, won't you help me hide this pain I have inside? Oh, whiskey, don't you let me go. Oh, don't let me go. Well, this bottle I've been drinking gonna rock me right to sleep. I don't drink for pleasure, I drink for cheap. Well, the whiskey is all I